Hey everybody, this is Phil from Zade Comics. I am the writer of the upcoming graphic novel set to launch on Indiegogo in August called Magic Cop, and I am just one half of the two best looking brothers in all of comics. And today we're doing a head to head statue review. But first, I just got home. It's 1:30 in the morning. I found some cake in my fridge, and I don't know what it is. It's homemade. Ladies and gentlemen, it is good. It is pineapple angel food cake. Let's get on to the video. I want to show you guys our new mailing list that we set up. If you go to the link in the description, you will come to this page. You could sign up for our mailing list, which will give you exclusive content once our Indiegogo is live for crowdfunding. And you're gonna be able to read our Magic Cop Karaoke Express 12-page pilot issue before anyone else next month. Okay, so here we are. 'Tis the season for this Shazam Captain Marvel reviews, and today I have two statues, two figures, if you will. I like to call them statues, featuring the character of Captain Marvel, aka Shazam, from DC and Fawcett Comics. This is one of my favorite characters, and not surprisingly, not a lot of collectibles in statue form for this character. Now, I fell in love with this character, I would say, in the Justice League animated series and Mortal Kombat versus DC, where I really found an attachment to this character because I love playing. Well, back then I loved playing that game, and Captain Marvel was such a cool character in there. Just the announcer, the power of his voice when he said Captain Marvel, super badass. And then I got into him in Justice League Unlimited, and when Injustice came out, the fighting game by NetherRealm, really loved Shazam then. But not a lot of people know this. It's widely known that his name used to be Captain Marvel, but his his name was only Captain Marvel. It was only changed to Shazam in probably like 2010. I think around the New 52 times, because if you go back and look even with the Young Justice animated series, he was still called Captain Marvel. Now, of course, the movie is a huge hit. I just saw it for the second time tonight and totally love it. Please go see it. We're going to do a review on that later this week. But let's go on to these collectibles. Over here, we have the Kingdom Come Captain Marvel, still back when his name was Captain Marvel, the Alex Ross design. Alex Ross, a great comic artist and just artist in general, doing realistic paintings of these characters and using stand-in models sometimes for that. Captain Marvel is one of his favorite characters, and in a lot of his comics, he uses him. So in Kingdom Come, Captain Marvel had a big role, and in Justice, which I like Justice better than Kingdom Come. It's got, the Metal Men are cool, and Captain Marvel's got a pretty cool role in that comic also. But this totally embodying the old classic uh, costume with you have this kind of captain's jacket from the Civil War flap going across his chest, the golden sash and gauntlets and boots. Down here, you might not be able to see in the camera, but it does say the world's mightiest mortal, which was his tag. Earth's mightiest mortal, I thought it was, but world's mightiest mortal on a little metal plate there. The base, not really, um, not it doesn't have that cool factor like some of the bases of statues that I have and love. I really think, and you'll hear me say this in other videos, I think the base is a piece of the art also, and you need to work it in there for a cool figure and get that mythology of the character into the base also. But I think this might have been part of another a long line of Kingdom Come characters, so the bases might be similar when he's standing next to other characters. I'm not really sure about that. This one is by DC Collectibles, um, and it's going for right now around 150 on eBay. I managed to pick it up actually at a video game arcade game convention in Wisconsin, and I saw it there. I think I only got it for like $60 or something like that. It's nice. The cape detail, really cool. He's got that off-the-shoulder cape, classic costume, and it's just, it's your Captain Marvel. Like if you like old Captain Marvel, Alex Ross is probably the quintessential, he embodies it into his art. He loves everything about this character, even seemingly more than Superman. And the cool thing about this one is he's got the little pupil, the dots for eyes. He doesn't have the irises or even sclera in his eyes. Oh no, he does have the whites of his eyes, but the eyes are so small that you get that feel of the tiny-eyed Captain Marvel and Billy Batson, which I love. I totally love that. And let's go over to this one. In the head-to-head, we have the New 52 Captain Marvel by DC Direct. This guy's really light, um, and I got this. Man, it must have been 2011 because New 52 just came out. They were introducing a new look into Shazam and a new design for his character. So Gary Frank, along with Jeff Johns, was working on the book, and I believe Gary Frank designed this outfit with the hood. And now this is kind of the Shazam that we know now, because it was just further immortalized by the Injustice game, giving him the hood um, on his cape and more of a traditional cape, not off the shoulder. It's off both shoulders, has this extra flap here, which is pretty cool. And the base is very stylized. Now, I wouldn't say that this is, you know, really integrates anything from the character into it except for the logo, but it is much more stylized than the Captain Marvel base. And of course, instead of having the chest, the redesign called for lightning. His chest always constantly being glowing with electricity, which is very interesting and looks awesome in all media, in the comics, in the video games, and in the movies. Striking a pose here. This, of course, is just a bust. I'm not a huge fan of the bust, but this was my first Captain Marvel Shazam figure. I got this guy way before I got this one. So at the time, it was the only Shazam statue that I could find at, I believe it was C2E2 um, here in Chicago. So I picked it up because I really liked the character. Some issues about this one is the paint job. I don't know, I'm going to bring it pretty close to the camera here, but as you can see in the hood, the inside of the hood is not finished being painted, which I was disappointed there because you could actually, when you look at it, you could see a lot of the hood, the inside of it. So it's kind of um, this gray primer color. So I don't know if that's the actual color of the primer. I'm just guessing. Um, the lightning bolt I feel is not painted really well, and I'm pretty sure there was some, like under here you could see some, it's not seamage, but you could see the white of the cape for some reinforcements, and just these, you could tell this one's mass produced and doesn't have quite the detail. Um, Even though I'm pretty sure the other one, most statues are mass produced, but it doesn't have the care in it that I think this one shows off. His eyes are totally white, showing kind of like that power of electricity. And of course, like I said, that pose is a pretty cool pose. Now, I do like this costume. The hood gives Shazam that badass feel. And I know that in the comics at this time, when they reintroduced Billy and brought them into the New 52, that Billy was more edgy than he used to be. He his being in a foster home really wore on him and kind of made him into a delinquent. And then through the power of Shazam and his new foster family, he learns to be the holy moly, golly gee, Billy Batson that we love, even though he's still got that edge to him. So I think that hood really adds to his character design for his costume. Um, but this guy, this is your classic Captain Marvel. This is what I think of when I think of Captain Marvel. The really cool, uh, super far-breasted captain's coat and the sash and that cape. The one shoulder cape is really what sets him apart from Superman and every other caped hero. Like, man, that's Shazam. That's Captain Marvel. Really, really embodies that. And Alex Ross, that's what he goes for. He wants to grab that, big red cheese, as they used to call him. So, in this head-to-head, I would say, well, let's go over pricing. I believe this one was like $55 when it came out. So for a bust, DC Direct bust, that's like usually your standard, brand new, pretty good price. This one, I didn't find a pricing on him when he came out, but I know that they're going online on auctions for about the same, like 142, 150. So I say if you're gonna pick one of them, I would go with the Captain Marvel one, just because there's no paint discrepancies with it. It's just the iconic pose, the iconic costume of Captain Marvel, DC's Shazam. And that's going to be in everyone's heads forever. Now, this one is a little bit closer to the Shazam we see in the movie. He has the electricity on his chest, even though it's yellow instead of blue in the movie. But for me, it's Captain Marvel. It's the world's mightiest mortal. Given that even now that we've just had a Shazam movie come out, there's still there's still a lack of collectibles for the character. It's really interesting. Sideshow doesn't have a Shazam statue, but they don't even have it. So Sideshow doesn't have one. Iron Studios is one of the only like production companies that actually makes one. The statue's really cool. It is on the regular base, like the standard Sideshow base. So there's nothing or not Sideshow, sorry, Iron Studios base. So there's nothing special about that particular base, but it's really cool because it has Billy in the front and Shazam in the background. They also have a Black Adam that is coming out soon, but Prime One doesn't have a Shazam. Sideshow doesn't have a Shazam. Um, who else is there? Like the other guys, like Pop Culture Shop, they don't have. I don't think they have the license, but there's nothing for them. The only really cool ones that are out there are fan made ones, like the small run production fan fan sculpts. Those are super amazing, but they're really expensive. They have some ones where there's a bunch of smoke and an explosion from the lightning bolt that's coming out of the sky and hitting Billy, and then Shazam is floating in the air. Really cool what they do with these 3D sculpts and 3D printed statues. But they're small runs, and the prices, I mean, they're 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 big. XM Studios doesn't have a Shazam. Hopefully they do, because XM is rocking it. They're rocking it with the DC license now, with the Joker they did, the Lobo that's coming out, the just all their XM stuff. I'm really excited to get my hands on an XM and do a review for you guys. So if you enjoyed the video, give us a like, hit that notification button so you guys know when we're posting stuff, and hit a subscribe. We're trying to build a pretty good audience. We do comic reviews, statue reviews, we're doing some movie reviews, and we're talking a lot about our own comic. So follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and we got those down in the description below. And remember about that mailing list. Check that out. Check out our comics, and thank you so much for watching.